Hey everyone, I'm pretty excited for today's ASMR video. It's another magazine page flipping, whispered, ramble kind of video. And this magazine is so exciting. Horror! And as you can see, it's from the makers of Total Film and SFX. And I read this on a train journey. The train journey lasted 2.5 hours and this kept me entertained for the entire journey. And I will turn the camera around in a minute so we can go through it. But basically it is my new film horror bible because it just covers everything, and there are so many films in this that I have now added to my love film wish list or made a note of to buy the DVD. So here we have the front cover up close with a very scary clown on the front, which is also inside. So I think we'll just go straight in with it. Won't talk too much about the cover or the contents page. Now, as always with my page flipping magazines, I won't stop on every single page, but I will stop on the ones that I feel are most important. Now, unfortunately, that is quite a large portion of this magazine. So this could be a long video. Let's see. So our first feature is the 25 greatest horror movies ever made. And I won't go through them all, but this one, called Freaks, sounds very, very interesting. And we have The Omen in this corner, The Wicker Man, The Wonderful Bride of Frankenstein, An American Werewolf in London. I am really looking forward to watching that. I was never sure if it was one that I particularly wanted to watch, and then I read this magazine and there's more about it later on, and I have to see it now. Dawn of the Dead, Frankenstein, which is 1931 and arguably the best Frankenstein. Number 1 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Personally, I didn't think it was that scary. I'm not sure why. Maybe I'll have to rewatch it again at some point, because I've seen both the 1974 version and the remake version that was out a good few years ago now. We have a section titled Horror Preview, and we have a look at films such as Crimson Peak, The Witch, which apparently has done very well so far, The Howl, The Victor Frankenstein. I had it in my head. I haven't really looked into this too much, and I had it in my head that Radcliffe was playing Frankenstein, but no, he's Igor, so I'm really looking forward to that. Let's say the estimate time of arrival 27th of November, so that'll be one to look out for. I won't talk about Pride and Prejudice and zombies, as I read the book and thought it was appalling. Okay, so the majority of the magazine is now split into sub-genres, and our first one is slashers. And this looks at all different kinds of knife-wielding maniacal monsters. Obviously we have Psycho, arguably one of the most iconic slashers. We have quite a very interesting in-depth look at different Hitchcock things. Friday the 13th. I've never seen this. It's definitely on my wish list for films to see, but the whole franchise of Friday the 13th just sounds incredible. For whatever reason, I was never really a big fan of the Scream films. I don't know, for me it's kind of, once you've seen it once, you've seen them all. Then we have a look at different franchises. Looking forward to seeing Halloween. I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, I love the original, but I also love the remake. And I know a lot of people don't particularly like the remake. I'm also quite a big fan of Final Destination films. Then we have the paranormal and the occult. Despite being a spiritualist and loving everything dead, paranormal films can be hit or miss. And I loathe Paranormal Activity. I think it's so boring and not scary. But then you have films like Insidious, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. House on Haunted Hill with the rather dashing Vincent Price. Such a good film. Really, really like that one a lot. The Conjuring. I thought that was fantastic. I didn't actually read the Blair Witch Project article because I haven't watched it yet, but I have the DVD, and sometimes the articles do give away a couple of spoilers that I'd rather not know about, but I'm sure it's a great article. Stranger Than Fiction. This section is all about films, horror films of course, that were inspired by genuine accounts and real stories. The Wicker Man. Can't wait to watch the original of that. You know, I can't remember if I've seen the original Omen. I definitely saw the remake that came out. I wish my phone wouldn't go off while I'm in the middle of recording a video. You think I'd learn to play on sound. Hammer, horror, and vampires. I love Hammer horror. Vampires for me are very, very hit and miss. Just look at that face. Dracula, Christopher Lee. So we have some wonderful films up here. The Curse of Frankenstein, Dracula, The Devil Rides Out, which I've not seen, but I was actually looking at it today. I was going to get it, but I refrained for the meantime. Oh, I wish film posters looked like this now. They're just so wonderful. Okay, this is a really brilliant article about Christopher Lee playing Dracula. I think there's 6 good things we owe to Twilight, kind of tongue-in-cheek, but interesting. Let the Right One In, a Swedish vampire movie. This amused me. This is all the films that you could watch in succession if you wanted to watch non-stop vampire films for an entire weekend. it would probably send me a bit batty. Zombies, werewolves and monsters. I love this section. King Kong, Godzilla, Cloverfield. I have that DVD but I've not watched it yet. I wouldn't have expected to find it in this catalogue because I knew nothing about it. Filming on a budget. Clowns. I'm terrified of clowns, but I love clown films because they do genuinely scare me. But it's controlled fear because if I get too scared I can turn the sound off or put a light on or just stop the film altogether. This is it. The American Werewolf in London. Apparently it's all on the Northern Line. And the Northern Line is the one that I use most frequently when I'm in Hampstead. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be. I love things that are set in the London Underground system. So I'm a bit obsessed with the London Underground. George Romero. This has also given me quite an education about a lot of the more infamous horror directors. Hardcore, gore and video nasties. So these are all quite dark films. I've only seen the first Saw, but I really enjoyed that. Eli Roth. Dying for Your Heart. Martyrs. Sounds really interesting. Coming to my favourite section now at the end, which is quite a scary section. Tongue in cheek. That is perhaps an unfortunate use of phrasing there, given. Yeah, A Human Centipede is fantastic. There's something about it that I just truly love. I've only seen the first two. I'm trying to put off watching the second one for as long as possible so I can make it last. 50 worst horror movies of all time. I must say some of these sound really wonderful and I am actually going to check some of them out. Of course we launched straight in at number 50 with Plan 9 from Outer Space. Edward. Edward is actually one of my heroes. He was not the greatest film director ever, but he enjoyed his work, so it seems, and he put a lot of himself into it, and he never gave up, despite the backlash, the criticism, the fact that he never really became this big director. He didn't give up. He did what I assume made him happy, and I admire that. He did it for his own art, not for the business side of things. The remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, which again, I really enjoyed it. So to find that in this list is a little heartbreaking. Number 1 is the Wicker Man remake, which I haven't seen, but I made. Yeah. I believe we skipped my favourite section because I wasn't paying attention. Yes, so here we have all these different films which are outrageous. A lot of them are either banned in the UK or they never made it over here, or they've been severely cut, very heavily edited. And I'm going to get hold of the ones that I can, because some of them just sound incredible. So if you can get hold of this, I suggest you do. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I love a lot of these films, and the ones I haven't seen, I will try and watch. Any suggestions for any other videos, let me know, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.